Welcome back, everyone, to Pod of Thrones. I'm Jeff.
Jennifer.
It's okay. You know what? You go first.
I'm Jennifer.
I'm Jeff. Is today Wednesday? Is it opposite day? No, today's Tuesday. All right. Well, you know what? People are going to listen to this on Wednesday. It's opposite day. Okay. There's so freaking much to talk about. We cannot dilly-dally. San Diego Comic-Con happened. We were not there. We got sloppy this year, but there's still some stuff from there that we can talk about. So let's just get into it.
Ooh.
Okay?
Okay.
Let's see. First thing. Let's just talk about Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon had a panel at Comic-Con. Now, remember, we saw a couple Game of Thrones panels at a couple Comic-Cons.
Yes.
And they were fine.
They were good.
Like Hodor hosted one. That was cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them, but I'm a little angry this time because George R. fucking Martin himself was there.
Mm.
He didn't come to the other ones we went to. I feel a little slighted. But I just want to read you a little bit of a write-up here. The cast of House of the Dragon was joined on stage by executive producer Ryan Condal, who cares about that guy, and George R. R. Martin, who wrote the books that inspired the entire franchise. He told the crowd he's seen 9 out of 10 episodes of the show so far, and he approves. He says, Ryan has done a great job of adapting the book so far. Our cast here is amazing. I'm very happy. But then, of course, people had to ask about Winds of Winter because he's in public. And I think he said something. Someone was just mentioning this to me the other day. And he said something during COVID of like, if I don't have Winds of Winter done by the time COVID is over, you're allowed to like kick me in the dick or shoot me or like kill me in some fashion. Like he said something like that. But anyway, when the topic of Winds of Winter came up, Martin admitted that he's still working on the long delayed book and made a surprising promise.
Ooh.
You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
He said, I don't see visiting the set or doing anything until I deliver that book. And then if the show's still going, I'll show up. So.
Okay.
Yep.
But what about all your other 100 projects?
No, those don't count. From this point forward, or he's just.
Is he going to stop the other projects though? He
didn't say that.
Right,
he just said he wouldn't.
He won't go to the set.
He wouldn't have anything to do with the show that is the most important to his fans until he's done with the book. And he did, like, someone took from that maybe he meant he'd do like a cameo on the show or something. And he said, it wouldn't be the first time. He said, I did do a cameo of the original, on the original Game of Thrones pilot, but they reshot it.
Hmm.
So.
Who was he? Did he say?
He didn't say, but they did the original pilot, as we've talked about before. They reshot like 75 to 80% of it and recast some characters, including Daenerys. So yeah. They talked about dragons. The producer dude talked about.
Man, how bummed is that person that was in the pilot that's not Daenerys
yeah, no
now?
shit.
I'd be like,
I don't
what
remember.
the hell's wrong with me?
I don't remember her name. She's not like a huge name in Hollywood, but she's gone on to do. She works plenty,
okay,
especially on like British projects. So she's not hurting necessarily, but yeah, it kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The producer guy, Condal, went into detail about how hard they worked to make each dragon, each CGI monster stand out. He said there's 17 dragons at the height of the show.
Wow.
So it's important to differentiate them and how they look and behave. That was one of the earliest things when we started concentrating on a year before we started filming. Conceptual designer. George gave us the gift of specifying color and size and age. We took all that and tried to extrapolate.
Wow.
Caraxes is very cantankerous, always moving and flexing and never sits still.
Did he name them or?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because he named all the Targaryens too. Like it's all from his sort of extended lore books. Vaga is the biggest dragon alive right now. We've designed dragons you won't even see in season 1. There's much. Whoever wrote this needed a proofreader. There's much mo to come.
Much mo to come.
I'm guessing the guy didn't say that on stage. Let's see. They used LED backdrops instead of green screen. So you're sort of more in the moment. So that might help with some of the acting and effects too. At the panel, Martin went into more detail on the premise, revealing that he based this story on the Anarchy, a conflict in England and Normandy from 1838 to 1153 over the 1138 to 1153 over the crown between Henry I's daughter Matilda and her cousin Stephen. Well, hot damn. You know who we should ask about this? I wonder if he's still around.
Who? Kevin?
JP.
Sorry for
Remember
yelling.
JP?
Yeah.
He was our history guy.
Mm.
He might know something about this. Or maybe I can make him study it so he can tell us.
Man.
Then I don't have to. And that's really what this show's all about.
Really?
I hope Lore Master Kevin's brushing up on his lore, though. I need him to be sharp. I should check in with him. He said, my books are fantasies, but I do follow history a lot. I get inspiration from history and turn it up to 11. Name that movie reference.
I don't know.
Spinal Tap. Come on, lady.
I didn't.
You've never seen Spinal Tap?
Well, I didn't pay attention.
Oh, I'm dying inside right now.
I mean, I saw it, but I didn't pay close attention.
Oh, I'm dying. Okay, the show was based on an earlier English period called the Anarchy. When Henry I's only legitimate son drowned while trying to cross the English Channel, he was left with only one legitimate child, his daughter Matilda. Note the legitimate part. That means Henry fucked around a lot.
Mm-hmm. They all did.
He made her his heir, and then after he died, here comes cousin Steve, who crosses the channel and steals the treasury, and you enter a period called the Anarchy. So, there you go. Our King Viserys Targaryen is sort of our Henry I, and the actor who plays him, Paddy Considine, says, he's a kind man, a good scholar, and a man of temperament, trying to keep the peace going, but he's also carrying something else that's kind of a secret that's revealed in the show, which reveals the potential fall of man in the future. Ooh, secrets. So there you go. A lot of stuff in King's Landing. The series will also take viewers to Driftmark, an island near Dragonstone and the seat of power for House Velaryon. And we'll also meet the Sea Snake. The home of the Great Sea Snake is a new world we explore quite a bit. That's one of the sailing people, the Iron Islanders.
Piss guy.
That
Urine.
guy. No, but not him.
But the people.
Greyjoys. The
Greyjoys.
Not him, because he's not alive yet. But yes, his ancestry. So yeah, should be a lot of fun. We watched the trailer just before we started recording. What did you think? Any new thoughts?
I am excited for it. I am still loving that Matt's going to be somebody that I'm going to hate.
Yes, he seems to be the bad guy.
He seems to be the bad guy. Maybe he'll turn out to be good.
If it follows history, and the king, King Henry was like, my daughter gets to be queen, and then this guy sails in and just starts fucking shit up, then yeah, I mean, bad guy for sure. Mm-hmm. So there's your Matt Smith. What else?
I like the dude that seems to be in love with the Queen Targaryen, whatever her name is. I don't know what's her name.
Which Rhaena, I think.
Rhaena, yes.
What dude?
Oh, so there's this. I don't know how many scenes he's in because I think he might only be in one. He's like kneeling down and he looks up and you can see that little sparkle in his eye. And I'm assuming he's looking at her. I'm like, Is
he the non-Targaryen guy with the beard? Kind of scruffy looking? Okay, because he looks like he's going to be her champion too. Like he's going to lead the fight.
He's sexy.
Oh, all right. I'm not sure who he is off the top of my head, but we're going to find out.
I like him. That's about all I got.
Most of the trailer we just watched, we had already seen as HBO's sort of final teaser trailer, but then the extended Comic-Con trailer that we just watched.
I didn't notice anything different.
It was definitely longer, and the thing I noticed over and over again,
Shorty.
If you hear a sound, it's Shorty, the dog of Dopes, chewing on a bone.
Oh, he's getting it. Can you take that away?
What?
It's getting old. He's making his gums bleed.
Ah, Shorty. Just take a break, man. All right. This is good podcasting is what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Real life. Live.
Don't hurt yourself because the bone tastes so good.
Oh, he's going to try and get it.
No. Stay. Anyway, the one thing I noticed in the trailer over and over again was the knife that Rhaena was using. I was just
see it.
I'm sure it's Valyrian steel because of course it is. These are, the Targaryens from Valyria. But I was wondering if it's the dagger from Game of Thrones, the one that was
supposed to stab Bran.
Right, it was going to be used to kill Bran, and then that was framing
Tyrion
as the killer because it was supposedly his knife.
But it was really Varys's. wasn't it?
I think it was Baelish's originally.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do about this dog trying to get this bone. I got nowhere to put it.
Shorty, go lay down. Go lay down. Come
he
here.
really wants to make his gums bleed as much as possible.
Come.
I'd edit this out, but I'm not gonna. Okay, let's talk about another Comic-Con topic. Just the next one of the browser tabs I have open. Freaking Marvel.
Yes.
I think they've gone too far with announcing all the things. You watched a little bit of this, some YouTube video earlier where they were going through some of the stuff that's coming up, and it's just crazy. They've mapped out basically to 2025. The stuff that's coming up in the very near future on Disney Plus, they've got She-Hulk Attorney at Law, which looks like it'll be kind of fun.
There's somebody in that show from
The Good Place.
Yes. Oh, she's the producer.
What?
Yes. What's her name with the bangs?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a producer.
I should really know her name. I feel terrible right now.
Tatiana Ali.
No. Damn it, are you going to make me look this up? What do you mean she was the producer? I think she's the villain.
Oh, I thought that she was either a writer written by,
That's
like
kind
she
of funny
contributed.
Because Tatiana Maslany is in the cast, but no, you're thinking of Jamila Jamil.
Yes.
Oh, in the show Good Place, she was Tahani Al-Jamil. Very similar name. Boy, this Marvel.com page keeps crashing on my phone browser. But look, we got that. They've announced a million movies coming. Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy, Loki Season 2 is coming to Disney Plus. They're doing a Blade movie. Ironheart, that's going to be a successor to Iron Man, but a teenage girl.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's going to be. There's a new Captain America movie, which I guess will be the Falcon, right? He's Captain America now. Thunderbolts, that's going to be like a bad Avengers or a iffy kind of a gray area Avengers starring that
Scruffy
weird
Avengers,
the scruffy Captain America guy that no one liked. And,
and
a few other people, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's awesome. They have announced and confirmed that they're doing a Fantastic Four movie that's just coming in November 2024. So don't hold your breath, but that is big news. People have been waiting for that ever since Disney announced they were buying Fox, and probably earlier, but very few people have been satisfied with the previous offerings of Fantastic Four. I liked the original one. I thought it was fun. The latest iteration looked like garbage, and I never saw it. Anyway, and then in 2025, 2 different Avengers movies, The Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. So the Kang Dynasty means we're going to be seeing a lot of multiverse shit, assumedly culminating in 2025. And Secret Wars is a whole different Marvel plot line that I know almost nothing about. So I'm not even going to try, but that's going to be their a new big overarching plot, hopefully, coming next. And then finally, coming, I think at the end of this year, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. They dropped a teaser trailer for that. Didn't show a whole lot, except it looks like they're going to be up against Namor the Submariner. That's all I got for that. But, and of course, no Black Panther. Maybe. Unless someone puts on the suit at the very end, but we have no idea who that's going to be.
Right. They did mention, I was watching an interview. Was it? Maybe it was whatever we watched, that they said that there was going to be a surprise at the end or something.
Maybe.
I think they said you
ain't gonna see this coming.
I don't know. They said you don't see it throughout I don't know.
Like the Black Panther suit, you mean?
Right, or that there's a new Black Panther.
Yeah. Well, they said they weren't going to replace Chadwick Boseman right away. So we thought we were going to be like one movie with no Black Panther, but it looks like probably at the very end of the movie, the good guys are on the ropes. They're going to die to all these blue-skinned Atlantean people. And then someone puts on the suit and it's
going to be, his sister.
That would make the most sense. And I think we talked about this years ago, but in the comics, Shuri was at one point the Black Panther.
Oh, well, then that's it.
It's got to be it, but maybe not. Maybe they're saving that for later. I don't know. But very, very likely. That's what a lot of speculation is. Okay, how about Lord of the Rings? We watched the trailer for that. You think it looks good? Our kids are not very excited by it.
Well, it's because it's like it loses its nostalgia or something when it's current, you know? It's Lord of the Rings is something that you get this feeling come over you that you want to watch it. And by having it be like current, it makes it less special.
I think, too, one of the things that's going to hurt this show with diehard fans of the movies is that elves are immortal, but you can't keep going back to the same actors. So Elrond and Galadriel,
they're played by other.
Maybe, I don't know if Legolas will be in this or not. Maybe. Probably not. Hopefully not. But some of the big ones, the older elves, the ones that have been around for thousands of years or whatever, they got to recast them because the actors are old now, you know? Although Cate Blanchett still is aging pretty well. She looked great in Thor Ragnarok.
Is she in this?
We saw her at one point in this. Yeah, you wouldn't have recognized her. Someone said her name super fast and was showing her one of the Palantir, the orbs. That was Galadriel. So she's super young looking now. Maybe too young. Given the lifespan of the elves, they should age very, very slowly. Yeah, I don't know. So I have heard that comment. I've heard an anti-Galadriel casting comment, something. But they're going a little more diverse. So is Game of Thrones. The House Velaryon, of course, shitheads on the internet have been screaming and crying because House Velaryon is black now. They've still got like the long white hair.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not all black.
Well, the Targaryens are pale as shit, and then the Velaryons
are all black.
I think they're all black.
Well, that's cool.
That's what it looks like in the trailer anyway. We'll see.
I like it.
I thought the one guy that we saw that was prominently featured looked really cool with his white hair. Mm-hmm. And we also saw different colored elves in the Lord of the Rings trailer. Mm-hmm. So that's nice. It's nice to have diversity in your fantasy. There are a lot of nerds that are not white in this world. So good for them to finally have some representation starting in. I like that. And there was also criticism in this article, as well as my daughter picked up on this too, which was that they haven't shown a single dwarf woman yet with a beard.
Are they supposed to have beards?
Yeah. Dwarf? Or at least they can and often do.
Well, we saw a bearded dwarf in The Hobbit.
I don't think we saw a dwarf woman in The Hobbit.
Yes.
Wait, a woman? Did we?
Well, it was Lord of the Rings. Was it? So Frodo's Lord of the Rings, right?
Frodo is Lord of the Rings. We had Gimli.
When Gandalf is coming into town on his little
horse and cart,
right? Doesn't he pass that old farmer man and his wife comes out?
Oh, those are hobbits.
Doesn't she have a beard? Oh,
no, I don't think so.
I thought she did.
I don't think it did. But there was talk. Gimli was talking at one point about dwarven women and how other non-dwarves often find it hard to distinguish them from the men.
Because they have beards.
And then someone else, I think Aragorn, whispers to someone, it's because of the beards. Yeah. But I don't think we've ever seen one. So now we've seen some what appear to be female dwarves in the trailer, and they don't have beards. So purists are angry. That's what I got. But the trailer does look, stylistically speaking, quite good.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be a quality show in terms of its budget and creative juices. Mm-hmm. I guess it's just going to be down to the writing and the acting, and hopefully it all comes out good. We're going to try it.
Of course.
And we're going to come here and talk about it and see what we think.
Dungeons and Dragons.
What else? How about Dungeons and Dragons? I've got a note on that. What did you think of that trailer?
It looks really fun.
Right?
Yeah, it does.
Now, you have not seen the last attempt. Mm-mm. There was a theatrical attempt. I think there were 2 made-for-TV movies. I don't know anything about them in like the early 2000s. But there was an attempt, I think in the year 2000, for a D&D movie. And it starred Justin Whalen, I want to say. Justin someone, who was like a fresh-faced young teen idol type. And then one of the Wayans brothers, who played a goofy elf.
Okay.
And there was a big scary guy with blue lips, and he hurt things. And then there was Jeremy Irons, who was trying to take over the world. And he screamed and chewed the scenery in ways that few actors have ever done.
Really?
It was the most overacting.
Oh, I want to see it.
Glorious. It was glorious in how awful everything about that movie was. And Jeremy Irons was definitely the most amusing part. But he played the big villain at the end.
That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'd love to watch it with you and see what you think. Not a good movie. The IMDb users have given it I think I saw a 3.6 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like MST3K worthy bad. But it's fun. It's a fun watch in the sense that it is so bad. So it's definitely worth seeing. I'd be happy to watch it with you. I'll put it on the list of things to do. Now, this new movie with Chris Pine and Regé-Jean Page, your boy from Bridgerton,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Michelle Rodriguez and Sophia Lillis, who I thought looked familiar, but you nailed who she is.
Mm-hmm. From It.
From It, that's right.
She was also in something else recent.
Yes, I remember seeing her in something. I don't remember what it was. I feel bad. But she was excellent in It. Great. Great actress, without a doubt. So that's going to be super duper fun. They didn't tell us a whole lot, except the trailer was full of D&D references.
Oh.
Well, action too.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Tons of D&D references for us old school nerds. There was a gelatinous cube. There was a displacer beast. And I'm pretty sure the big artifact that they were talking about in the first few seconds of the trailer was the Horn of Khazgaroth. But I'm not ready to look that up and dive that deep into it yet. But like, this is the youth of nerds my age. Because new D&D, it's still going to have a lot of that stuff, but I think this one is set. I remember looking at the cast list, and there was a woman who was cast as like Thayan Wizard or Thayan Mom or something like that. But I saw the word Thay. Thay means we're in the Forgotten Realms, which when I was a kid, not only was Forgotten Realms a very popular D&D world, but it was also the setting for a 4-pack of really awesome computer games that I used to play all the time. Pool of Radiance, Curse of the Azure Bonds. I'll stop now, but they were great games, and it's just an awesome, super well developed world. So for someone like me, I'm just going to be squealing through half the movie. I'm like, oh my God, babe, look at that! I'll try to control myself.
Let's watch it in separate rooms.
Oh, you know what you should do? You should give me an edible first. Then I won't be able to talk through the whole movie. But you might have to carry me out of there. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm very excited that someone finally made a good-looking D&D movie, and I'm sorry that Gary Gygax was not alive to see it, because he tried for a long time. I read his biography a while ago, and the dude wanted D&D movies, but just couldn't make anything of quality happen in his lifetime.
Well, we don't have the technology until now.
I'm not going to say much about this except that I didn't know it existed, but there is something on Amazon Prime called Wheel of Time Origins, which is a series of animated shorts talking about background of characters and concepts in the series. And I think we should check that out because they're coming out with some new episodes soon. So there was a panel about it, but I don't even want to read the notes because we haven't seen the other episodes. I just want to tell you it exists.
Okay.
And finally, The Sandman. Coming to Netflix very soon. I think it said August or September, right? You were overwhelmed by the trailer?
Overstimulated.
Tell me what that felt like.
It feels like a whirlwind of like colors and action and lots of music and it was too much. I don't even know what it's about.
So I have started the audiobook. I know myself, I'm never going to get around to reading the original graphic novel, but it has been adapted for audio with a full cast of characters. It's a radio play. It's got like silly kind of old timey sound effects and everything. And I went through a lot. I'm a little over halfway through the first volume, which I imagine will be similar to the first season of this show. And at first I thought, I was like, oh, this is really cool and interesting. And then there was a little part that was like, this might be too silly for me. And then it got really dark and pretty fucked up. So I'm excited for that. I'll tell you a little bit. The Sandman is one of the, they're not the Eternals, Endless, I think they're called. And there's a bunch of them. There's Dream, Death, Desire, Fate. I'm pretty sure there's some others too. Despair, I think, is one. So Morpheus, aka Dream, aka the Sandman, he's one of these guys. But there's this cult of evildoers, and we saw a teaser at least a year ago that showed this. There's this cult of magic-doing evildoers in like 1920s Britain that are trying to capture death because they don't want to die. And they fail, and their ritual instead captures Dream. And the first big chapter of this book is just that, because time passes very quickly. They capture Dream, and then they don't know what to do with him, but they don't want to let him out because they're afraid he'll be angry. So they just keep him in his little magic prison for like 60 years or something. And in that time, a lot of people are having real bad sleep problems, which causes a lot of issues in the world. But when he finally escapes, it's 60 years later, and he is weakened. He has had some artifacts of power stolen from him that he has to get back, even in his weakened state. And also, he has to deal with the aftermath of his realm, both his, like, the realm he lives in, as well as the realm of just humans needing dreams. There's a lot of aftermath there. Some of his creatures have rebelled. And you saw in the trailer, this guy with sunglasses on, he's called the Corinthian, and he's one of Dream's creations. He's a nightmare, because people need nightmares, I guess. But he has escaped into the real world and is now basically a serial killer, but a pretty ferociously gross and scary one. So he's got to stop these bad things from happening and restore order.
There's the horror movie Sandman. Is this the same?
No. I'm not sure. The Sandman is a horror movie? I don't remember that. You thinking of Candyman?
Maybe.
I don't remember a Sandman movie. I remember Sandman from Spider-Man. Not the same thing. Because he was actually made of sand.
Right. I was expecting somebody to turn into sand at any moment.
No, he carries sand, and he can blow it in your face and put you to sleep and then control what you're dreaming about. Maybe keep you there forever.
So Dream and Sandman are one and the same.
In this, yeah. Dream, Morpheus, Sandman, they're all the same guy.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
It's too much.
And
everything that you just told me right now, too much.
I was just trying to give you a little synopsis, a little teaser of what I've learned so far. And I don't know how the book ends. I assume mostly good. You know, I'm sure Dream is successful in some fashion. And there's a volume 2, so he probably doesn't die. I thought you'd be super into it because I thought the Sandman dude kind of looks like the dude from frickin' Twilight, like kind of super pale and
that's not why I was into Twilight.
Glum, gothy. That's not why why were you into Twilight?
I read the books and I liked them. The movies came out much, much later.
Right.
Because they were good books.
All right. It was just an overall well-written book. It wasn't the gothy, brooding vampire type. Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about this. Go ahead. Are we doing Westworld?
Yes.
Ugh.
Okay, fine. So you want to move on is what you're saying. Sandman's coming. We're going to try it though, right? I mean, I'm excited for it. I can watch it on my own if I have to, but I think you'll like it. I really do.
I don't know.
Fine. We have a non-committal there from Jennifer. All right, let's talk about Westworld. Westworld, Season 4, Episode 5, Zhuangzi. I had to look that up. I had to look that up in part because I didn't know how to pronounce it, and also because what the hell does it mean? That never came up during the whole episode. And they've done that in other episodes too, but this one seemed particularly confusing. So I had to find out what it was. And it's not just a word that you can translate like Anefo was. Remember that one?
Yep.
This is something else. This is a book. It's an author and a book. A philosopher and who had a...
How do you spell it?
Zhuangzi.
Okay.
Zhuangzi. He had a different name, but his author name, his nom de plume, was Zhuangzi. And then he wrote a book called Zhuangzi. So I just wanted to read you a little bit about that because I think it does sort of touch on this episode and what's to come.
Okay.
The stories and anecdotes of the Zhuangzi embody a unique set of principles and attitudes, including living one's life with natural spontaneity, uniting one's inner self with the cosmic way, keeping oneself distant from politics and social obligations, accepting death as a natural transformation, showing appreciation and praise for things others view as useless or aimless, and stridently rejecting social values and conventional reasoning. So, this book, I guess, is also like a big book in Taoism. So right there, things like, uniting one's inner self with the cosmic way or accepting death as a natural transformation. Like, we got something going on in Westworld here. These robots are kind of immortal, but they're also kind of human, and it's maybe driving them crazy. The Zhuangzi interprets the universe as a thing that changes spontaneously without a conscious God or will driving it, and argues that humans can achieve ultimate happiness by living equally spontaneously. We've taken all that away from humans in Westworld, right? Mm-hmm. It argues that because of humans' advanced cognitive abilities, they have a tendency to create artificial distinctions, such as good versus bad, large or small, usefulness or uselessness, that remove themselves from the natural spontaneity of the universe. And last a little bit, the Zhuangzi vigorously opposes formal government, which Zhuangzi himself seems to have felt was problematic at its foundation because of the opposition between man and nature. The text tries to show that, quote, as soon as government intervenes in natural affairs, it destroys all possibility of genuine happiness.
Well, I'd say that sums it up.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this touches, some directly, some a little vaguely, on everything that Charlotte's doing. She's controlling humanity. She's taken away all of their spontaneity, and she's also sort of the government body at this point. She's making all the rules, and in that, she's destroying all possibility of genuine happiness. Even for herself, really. She's bored, right?
Yeah. Nothing's genuine.
Yeah. So, interesting title, but like a homework assignment. So, thanks a lot, guys. All right, let's run through the episode real quick. Let's start with William, and then we'll come back to William later, because he sort of bookends this episode. He does a lot of narrating about perfect grand design to the world and how everything was supposed to be amazing. But, and then we see him fucking with this couple at at dinner, and they're having a conversation about this guy who worked his ass off for his power, and William should never feel guilty for anything he has because he worked hard for it and all this stuff. And William's like, hey, you don't even know me. And the guy's like, yeah, I do. We're super old friends. You're one of my best friends. And he's like, no, I just sat down at this table. What's my name? And then the guy gets like, I loved the face acting. I love good face acting. He's like sort of giggling through his discomfort of not being able to answer that question. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really good acting for that guy. And then William starts getting real threatening, but Clementine walks in. Thank you again. I don't know why I can never remember her name. I always want to go to Anastasia. And that's not even the actress's name. I was thinking later, maybe it's because there's too many C names. We got Christina and Charlotte and Clementine and Caleb. Maybe I'm having a problem with those. I can never remember her name. Clementine walks in and says, someone, you got to help me with something. Winning the game wasn't enough. A client is being troublesome. So William gets up and says, wait for me here. I'll be right back. And it was pretty awesome. Like, you knew they were just going to sit there. And sure enough, like an hour later, they're still sitting at that table, kind of looking at each other, sort of
wanting to eat. They're hungry.
They can't even get themselves to eat. They have no free will at all. And all they can do is sit there and then be relieved when William comes back. But in the middle of all that, they go to this fucking bodies everywhere fucking crime scene. And we meet a host named Hope. That's a nice name. She seems nice. She's a little bloody, covered in blood, but she seems nice enough. She won the game, whatever that is. She's entitled to her reward, whatever that is. And she was set to transcend in just a day or two. We don't know what that means. William is mad that she is wasting human lives, which is
right. And at that point, I didn't know that they were all human. I thought they were hosts.
Yeah. well, we had no idea. Who knows? They all look the same. And also she's clearly fucking crazy. And we don't know what the game is. She said she just wanted them to be quiet. And then he gets all menacing. I love the way he's playing this out, man. Mm-hmm. He just looks at her and goes, well, they're quiet now.
Yeah.
So Clem takes her back to their base or whatever. And yeah, he goes back to the restaurant and they're happy to see William and they continue their chat. That was kind of awesome. And we come back to William at the end of the episode. And in the middle of the episode. But let's talk about Charlotte a little bit. When we first see Charlotte, there's like this cobblestone street that doesn't look like a typical city street.
Right. It looks like the back lot at Universal.
And it must be, but we did not get a full explanation of this. She's making a guy play piano with his fingers all fucking bloody.
Well, it's like the time that Dolores came out and shot everybody while they were dancing.
Oh, that was the original Wyatt or something, wasn't it?
Right.
When like Wyatt originally got into Dolores and went crazy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then she makes people start dancing to this guy's music, and she's just acting like a crazy tyrant, but obviously, and you see every time she gives a command, you hear like the wah 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 of the whatever the fuck they are, emitters, right? So you hear all that, and then William shows up, and he seems troubled by what she's doing with her time or the way she's abusing her power. Just do it, babe. Jennifer's getting a snack. You're digging in. You're in this for the long haul. People traditionally on a podcast, they love it when you chew on microphones. So,
okay, here we go.
Get ready for some ASMR, people.
Uh-huh.
And she says she's bored and goes off on this thing about, is this why the gods came down from old Olympus? And you had, I don't remember what thing she mentioned specifically, like fucking animals or whatever. I remember like the origin of, I think it was Hercules, was that Zeus had fallen in love with Hercules' mom, or Heracles' mom, and came down, quote, as a golden shower, unquote, which I think was interpreted as a shower of gold, but nowadays we can only think of piss, right?
Right.
Right. And impregnated this lady, and then Heracles was born.
Wait, so he came down like a golden shower.
And just splashed all over her.
And right.
And
so maybe it was urine and semen together.
Maybe.
Gross.
I mean, there had to be semen in there somewhere.
Right.
There was another one where one of the gods, I don't think it was, one of the gods like turned into a bull because it wanted to attract this other bull and then let the bull fuck it. And then I think that's where the Minotaur came from, maybe. There's some weird shit in Greek mythology.
Wow.
I'll say that. Yeah. Well, and this, why? Is it the gods were just bored? I mean, people always thought the gods would come down and do things, and it was because they loved humanity and wanted them to prosper, but maybe they were just bored. Yeah. So, and then this whole cobblestone street thing, she says she doesn't like coming to this place, but she's also like addicted to it. There's something about this place that she just can't get enough of.
Mm.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because she's Charlotte Wyatt now.
She's still got Dolores in her somewhere, or Wyatt, or both. Yeah. It's still in there. It's her base code. And she's gone off in her own direction, but yeah. But then she starts questioning her reality, really. She asks why they haven't remade themselves, why the hosts haven't overcome this. You could program out the addiction, the addictive behavior. You could program out boredom because it's all code running in their heads. Why haven't they done that? Why don't they just make themselves better? But in any case, Charlotte is also wants to talk to William because of a different problem. So they walk to the tower, which you thought was weird.
Right. They could just like get a car. Save themselves like a half hour.
It looked like a really long walk.
Mm-hmm.
I just figured maybe they don't care because they don't have shoes and they're kind of immortal, but it was a long looking walk.
She wears shoes.
Or don't, like their feet aren't, sorry, not that they don't wear shoes. Their feet won't get sore no matter what shoes they're wearing. They could wear any shoes, not like us.
Now, just to back up for a second, the humans, were they humans ever? And now they're with flies inside them? Or are they just copies of the humans and they're robots?
Well, we don't have the answers to that yet because we need an answer to that to understand how Caleb could have died 200 plus times. But most of the people in the city are seemingly legitimately human, but they're infected with the black goop.
Okay.
That's what it seems like. The walk to the tower, I think the tower has been built on the grounds of the old Delos complex. I think. Because there's the Olympiad Entertainment building in the city where Dolores works, and that's definitely like the headquarters of the narrative building or whatever. But then I think the tower looked like the area around with all the water features and stuff. I think that was Delos. And why not reuse it? But anyway, so Hope is there, and Charlotte wants William to see that. Hope put a bullet in her own brain. And Charlotte's theory is that the humans are infecting the hosts with some kind of virus. Turnabout's fair play, I guess. But she doesn't understand what it is. And they have a whole conversation. Charlotte's not getting many takers for transcendence, but we don't know what that is yet. It appears that there's a surgery where the marble gets taken out and put into a device. But we don't know what happens after that. If they're just being uploaded to a server, who gives a shit? That's what the other place was.
Right. Maybe that's where they're going.
Well, they have to have their own version of it. I think they're locked out. That one's encrypted. But they could make their own. Mm-hmm. But then you're not really in the world, so...
But you don't want to be around the people.
Yeah, but Charlotte wanted the world. She wanted to take the world. She wanted a place of their own, the hosts, one way or another. So if the transcendence is just going into a server, I don't think that's going to be it. I think it's got to be something else, but I have no idea what. Oh, here's an idea. What if the marble is being melted down and turned into black goo? So the hosts are going into human bodies and becoming human. That's my new theory.
Could be.
That would be the ultimate way for a host to achieve true humanity would be to have a human body, except they would then eventually die. But maybe that's okay.
Maybe.
But she's not getting many takers, but it's okay. Charlotte's giving them a choice. She wants hosts to have free will. She's a benevolent dictator, I guess, kind of. But they talked about the whole Hope thing. So the last outlier, so we find out an outlier is someone who winds up falling off the grid in terms of that black goop. No longer responds to the tower's message. The last outlier was some accountant in Midtown, and Hope tracked him down. But when she got to him and she was supposed to shoot him in the brain, she hesitated, and then he talked to her. And then she still killed him. But something
got to her.
Was transmitted to. He infected her.
No.
Dirty free will. But then she went on a killing spree, and then she killed herself. So something went wrong with her code. So what's the problem? Well, they're not sure. Humans obviously can go bad, whether it's outliers or just their health, I guess. But host suicide should never happen. Yet there's been 38 host suicides recently, which seems like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what their numbers are.
It's the same thing that was happening in the park.
Yeah, that's true. We had that. Oh my God. Remember the big guy in season 1 that crushed his own head with a rock?
Yeah.
I forgot all about that, babe. Good on you. That is a good pull. They were going crazy back then.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. And she starts kind of blaming William for this. Like, he says he's forever, like, he keeps disappointing her. Like, he's the ultimate disappointment. He can never get things right.
She's an abuser.
Definitely an abuser.
Mm-hmm.
But we have no idea all we've seen him do so far is be a badass. Like, he hasn't really fucked anything up yet.
But when he gets around her, he's kind of meek.
Yeah. He might be scared of her.
Mm-hmm.
She's
probably rebuilt him many times. She's probably killed him and rebuilt him.
And she'd be like, I'm sorry. I love you. I just couldn't control myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's upsetting. She has also, while screaming at him, she's picking at her arm.
Yes.
Where she kept her burned skin for reasons that we still don't
Right.
Fully no.
You shouldn't have plans for that arm or something. Better than having a backwards arm.
My best guess is that it's just like fuels her rage. It reminds her of how much she hates humanity.
That's the only part of Charlotte that's left.
Perhaps. The part that remembers her family getting incinerated because of humans.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been picking at it. Okay, so there's another outlier that they found, some lady that we don't know yet, and he's going to go take care of this himself. No game this time. You do this right, or you're on notice. And then she starts to run a diagnostic on herself after William leaves. So she feels like something's wrong with her too.
Right.
Yeah.
What is the game?
The game is putting the word out that there's an outlier and maybe giving out what his face is or something, and then having the host track him down. Oh,
so it's like John Wick.
Yeah, kind of. Oh man, there was a John Wick 4 trailer. I forgot to watch it. Fuck. We got to watch that later. Yeah, kind of like John Wick with the
hit on him.
The table or whatever that whole organization is called. Yeah. Good point. So then as that game begins of William having to hunt down this lady by himself, we get in with the rebels, I guess is what they're called. We have Jay. He's the leader here. He and Ashley's there, and a bunch of other people that we haven't really met. The one girl is C's girlfriend, I guess.
Right.
They, as they're on their way, they know who the outlier is. I don't know how they figured that out. They know that he was talking about how all these humans just live in their loops. They don't have free will. They just go through their day-to-day lives, but it's all set up for them. So it really is just like Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows about the game, and he's worried that it's begun, so they have to hurry. They put Ashley on point. He has to walk in front just in case of trouble, I guess. We have rebels walking. We have William walking. There's tension, and then William sees them go by, and he's like, these aren't normal behaviors. So he freezes all the humans in the area, and sure enough, the rebels don't freeze, and they're like, oh, fuck. The jig is up, people. And then a big fight breaks out. And we get one little glimpse of Sonny from Into the Badlands that he's like skids past a couple guys. Because we know that guy, Jay, he can go if he needs to go. But we didn't get it much yet. I'm hoping we get more before this is over. But Jay breaks through the line, gets inside the building. William is up there first somehow anyway, even though that dude never runs. He's like Jason from fucking Friday the 13th. He never runs, or Michael Myers. Never runs, never breaks a sweat, always gets there first, is always right behind you. But he gets the outlier and he disobeys Charlotte's orders, doesn't he? He talks to her.
Yeah, he has a nice chat.
Yep. She even seems to like him. She puts her head on his shoulder. I get the impression that her ex-husband is Peter from a few episodes ago, the guy that killed himself. That's what it seems like. And she's staring at the tower. She can see it. He can see it. He doesn't really say much of anything, but she puts her head on his shoulder. He is clearly shaken, but he pulls himself together. He's about to shoot her in the face, and then he gets brapped by Jay's little submachine gun. So he's down, but not out. But they get away. It was that easy. I thought for sure. You said yourself, the boat sailing into the city. I know you got a mouthful of licorice right now, but
sorry.
But when you saw that boat go into the city, it was too easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like Luke and Leia, or Luke getting away from the Death Star with Leia. Like, they lost Obi-Wan Kenobi, but getting away was too easy. They only sent like 4 TIE fighters after the Millennium Falcon when they had thousands at their disposal, but that was because they let him get away, because they had a tracker on the ship. So, curious where this is all going to go. It seems unlikely that no one knew these guys were sailing into the town.
Yeah.
But
it was a pretty nice boat.
Yeah. Nice looking little ship there too. Where do these guys get their resources when they're living out in the desert?
Right.
So we go back to William, who's just hanging out. He's licking his wounds in the William chamber where they keep the real William. And he opens that chamber up, and then they have a weird conversation.
Very weird.
So host William says, I'm made in your image. Am I you? And real William says, you'll never be me. And then host William screams, then what am I? He's questioning his reality, which is a bad sign, I guess. So he thinks he's infected with a virus from the Outlier. Whatever Charlotte said must be true because there's something wrong with him now. Real William says he reached the center of the maze.
What the?
I could swear we learned at some point that reaching the center of the maze was like sentience. Like true life. Wasn't it?
This doesn't seem like the answer.
Well, but wouldn't it drive you crazy if you have become properly self-aware, you're truly an alive being, but you're also just a copy of someone else?
Well, no.
No? You don't think so?
No. Because no. Who cares? I'm sure there's somebody else out there that's just like me.
Because he wants to be his own person, but he can't be because he's also got William's memories.
People are hung up on too much shit about themselves.
So, look, William needs therapy. Maybe the hosts don't have a good mental health care program yet.
They don't need one.
Probably not. I mean, you go into analysis mode and then you lose all your emotions temporarily. I don't know. But let's end this with a little bit of Christina. Christina's big awakening.
Yes.
Everything starts off fine. She wakes up in the morning. She had a nice date with Teddy last night. She seems happy. Maya.
First time she's woken up smiling.
Yeah. Maya still having nightmares. This keeps coming up.
Right.
And we still don't know if Maya's human or host.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I think I'm leaning towards human. Last episode, I think I said host. Or would
you
have
think
said
she's
host.
human with flies?
Oh, yeah, totally.
A human fly?
Like Ethan, who we see later, right? Her boss, Christina's
boss.
Right. I have a feeling Maya's kind of like that, like sort of her own person, but also keeping an eye on Christina. But then the nightmares, she had nightmares about flies. So maybe she's like halfway to becoming an outlier. She's starting to become self-aware or something. Maybe.
No, I don't know. She seems bad. She seems like bad news. All the looks on her face when Christina walks out.
Yeah, she always has that. All right, so Christina goes to work. She starts writing a new narrative about a girl in the country who lives with her father, and he's a Oh, not Ethan. Emmett. I'm sorry.
Emmett right.
Interrupts her. And she goes on to describe to him basically Dolores' entire story from the original Westworld. And he asks for the girl's name, and she thinks about it for a really long time. And then Teddy calls and tells her to play hooky. Go on, skip work. Your weird boss is right there, but you tell him it's a personal thing and leave. So she does. She meets Teddy by the water. They have a very creepy conversation. I feel like he could have approached this better.
They always can.
Because she winds up thinking he's a stalker too.
Yeah,
And he kind of is. I mean, he's been watching her.
Yeah. She figures out that he was the one that beat up the guy that was chasing her.
Right. And also, like, he knows too much about her. He knows.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps,
and now he's talking crazy.
Right. There's a whole, and the cinematography was a neat touch. Like when we see Teddy on camera, there's a whole city behind him. But when Dolores, we see her point of view, it's just water. I thought that was pretty cool.
I didn't notice.
Because she wasn't able to see the city yet or the tower behind that. Which I guess means there's two halves of the city across the bay from each other. What?
Transcendence could be. Is that what it was? Ascension or transcendence?
Transcendence.
Okay. Maybe it's that they get to go out into the real world that's across the water.
Maybe it's a promotion. They Hope, when we first saw Hope, she did make it kind of sound like it was a promotion. Like it was a bit, like she worked her way up to transcendence status.
Oh, it's, they're the, Scientologists.
That's what this show's all been building up to.
Oh my
It's an expose on Scientology. Hopefully it won't end by promoting it. But I think they're making Scientology look bad right now. They go through a whole creepy thing where he's trying to like get her to not run away from him at high speed, which she probably should have done. But he confronts her and gets her to understand that she is a god. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's a whole thing. Like Peter was telling you,
he's
the
like,
truth.
make these people unhappy.
Make these people meet each other. And then she's like, that's a coincidence. Now make them hate each other. And then they do. And one of the ladies storms off. So anything Dolores thinks towards these humans happens. That is a lot of power. how Dolores got her brain erased by Rehoboam. So Dolores doesn't exist anymore. So someone had to put her back together. Presumably Charlotte. Why would you give her that much power?
We're going to have to wait and see.
I wanted you to tell me. No? You're not willing to tell me?
Okay, so they're good friends from college. Maybe she's bait.
For Teddy?
Something, I don't know.
Well, so the next scene, Christina was like, I gotta go now. Now that I know I'm a god, I gotta have lunch with my old college roommate.
Mm-hmm.
And Teddy's like, don't trust anyone.
Don't say anything to anyone.
Yeah, don't tell anyone you know that you're a god. Just go back to your normal life, which that's fucked up. You can't just tell someone that they're a god and then just be like, play it cool. And her old college roommate is Charlotte. Of course it is.
And she's so like just getting even pushier and creepier.
Yeah, it was a short but intense conversation. It started with like, and I'm working on a promotion. How's your work going? And Christina's like, it's fine. Kind of boring, whatever.
And then she starts doing Jedi mind trick shit on her.
It tries to, yeah. She wants to know, did she meet someone? Yes. What's his name? She doesn't want to say. And
right.
Then, quote, I have my ways of making people talk.
Yeah.
And Christina didn't just be like, fuck you, and run out of there. I guess she was.
I think that Charlotte can control her.
You think it was like a Maeve thing? Like,
yeah,
trying to hack her?
Because she's doing her little.
Your finger says red rum. What
red
does your
rum
brain?
Finger,
what does your brain say?
She does her finger tricks, and I think she has some kind of power to get a like Wi-Fi. She's got the Wi-Fi into the brain of the computer or the other robots hosts.
But she can't quite get into Christina, I guess.
Right.
At least not yet.
Or maybe she could, but Christina's putting up a block.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Which makes her even more suspicious.
Something like that. So Christina does something kind of cool, obviously thinks something in her head, and then causes like waiters to knock into each other. That was a nice touch.
Do you think Charlotte knows what she did?
Charlotte knows something's up. I even say exactly that in my notes.
Or does she know that she has this power?
If she made Christina, she would have to know. But she assumes that Christina doesn't know that she has that power. But something's wrong. Something's wrong. Charlotte's going to have to figure that out. But that's the last time they interact in this episode. Christina's like, I gotta go. Gotta get back to work. Sorry, Char, or whatever. Goes back to work, searches for Charlotte Hale in her character database. Not found. Then, what's the next name she searches for, babe? You remember?
No.
Dolores Abernathy.
That's right.
So the whole name comes back to her. And then it says, search not found. And then a second little pop-up window says, illegal request. And an alarm goes off.
Right.
And then Emmett shows up because he's a real fucking creep. He wants to see her in his office. And starts doing like a real Gestapo or KGB kind of thing. Have you met any new people that put ideas in your head?
Right. He's starting to do the little interview for what's it called? Fidelity.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I guess similar. I don't think he's in that much control though. I think he's just a creep. But he points out that Charlotte's already suspicious. I don't think he says Charlotte, but what if what if she knew that Christina has now breached the walled garden, whatever that is? But then Christina takes control. She says stop, and he freezes, and then she rewrites his brain in real time. She's like, and then Emmett fucking put his dick in his mouth, and he does. She sends him home to his wife or whatever.
Partner.
But she asks him what the walled garden is. Is it a closed system? Where is it? Where's the walled garden? And he says, everywhere. You just have to see it. And she goes exploring through a door she's never walked through before while he goes home to his wife. She finds a computer that she asks the computer, show me the game. Mm-hmm. And it shows her the whole city. And she says, no, show me the game. And it shows her the whole city again. And the city is full of her narratives. Hundreds of them. All these people that she's written are real people in the real city. And she understands that she's the storyteller. for the world.
Now, the shittiest thing is that Emmett was telling her to write stories that had death and...
Yeah, Emmett wanted everything she did to be a downer,
Mm-hmm.
which must be Christina's doing. People have to suffer.
Charlotte's?
Shit. Which must have been Charlotte's doing. That people have to suffer, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Something. Because Charlotte's bored.
Maybe Charlotte's in his... Like... she just has to really waggle her finger a certain way, and she can like control the flies from remote.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she was controlling him then.
Emmett?
Mm-hmm.
She could have been.
Because that wasn't his loop.
Well, he got triggered by that alarm going off. But he was so fast to respond to that. That was an inhuman response time. I'll definitely grant that. Huh. William has to pull out his cell phone and tap some buttons to get all the humans to freeze and start doing things. But Charlotte's just up in her brain.
Right.
She didn't give that power to William. She could have. She didn't.
He didn't get the Wi-Fi.
Nope, he did not get the Wi-Fi. And finally, she goes back outside. Teddy's waiting for her. She can see the tower now. She can see everything. And she understands that she's writing the people in the city. And she says, "Who did this to me?" And he says, "You did."
Mm-hmm.
So that does actually thicken the plot more. So Dolores' brain got erased. Someone had to put her back together, but then how could Christina be the one behind all of this? Unless he just means that Charlotte is a copy of Dolores. That is how it all started, right?
Christina?
No, Charlotte. Because Charlotte is like our big bad of the season. She's the one that made the flies.
I see. So he's talking about Charlotte Wyatt.
Charlotte Wyatt, yeah. Charloriot? Maybe that's what he means. Is that this is all kind of Dolores' doing for putting copies of herself out into the world. That's an option. Or maybe, okay, how about this? Dolores plugged into Rehoboam and destroyed Rehoboam, but in doing so, her brain got destroyed too. Maybe Rehoboam overwrote into Dolores' brain, and like Rehoboam wasn't exactly writing the world's narratives, but almost. Like it was such a hyper advanced AI that it knew how to put everybody in the right places to achieve its ends. Right? So if Rehoboam got left behind in Dolores' marble, then maybe she's the one, maybe she rebooted herself and put herself back into the world with a new name, and Charlotte's just playing along. We've got 3 episodes left to find out.
Hopefully we'll find out next.
We need to know what transcendence is. We need to know who made Christina and how Christina has that much power when this is Charlotte's world. Those are the big things that are coming to mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, it's even, like, Christina's got to, like, tap into the tower and send a signal, and it goes, wah, 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 and then the people do whatever the black goo tells them
Charlotte.
to do. Fuck! God damn it! Charlotte needs to send a signal to the tower sends to the emitters, it goes, wah, 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 and then the people do whatever Charlotte wants. Christina can just be like, and then Emmett, finally went down on his wife and gave her the first orgasm of her life.
I'm pretty sure Emmett's gay.
Oh, well, whatever. And he'll just do it. Like, it doesn't seem invasive in the same way, even though it's easily as much control. But we're not hearing the wah, 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 wah and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's weird.
Curious.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the hosts can hear the wah, 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 right? It seems like Maeve could hear it. We hear
yes,
it.
Yes, it hurt William's ears.
But like Caleb wasn't able to hear it.
Caleb heard it. It hurt his ears too.
I think only when it got turned up like super duper loud.
Right.
And exploded.
Well, Caleb wasn't infected yet. He was just, it was, the virus
Oh,
was
maybe
working
he
on its
could
way.
hear it before he was infected, and then he couldn't hear it anymore.
I don't know.
But Christina isn't hearing it.
I don't think it matters if they can hear it or not. Even if they can hear it, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, just like technically their eyes are seeing the tower. Of course they are, because the tower's there, but their brains aren't processing the tower because they're
They've
programmed
got
to.
flies over that.
Yeah. We got flies for that. Very confusing. So we got a lot of shit that needs answering. And I am going to spend the rest of my life trying to convince you to watch The Sandman with me. And that's it for now. We're going to go. We'll talk soon. And if you want to say anything to us, you can find me, Jeff, at potofthrones.com or at potofthrones on Twitter.
Or you can find me at Kid Free Weekend on Twitter or Jennifer at potofthrones.com.
Yep. You've been tagged in a tweet or two recently.
Really?
Just so you know. Yeah, you never check Twitter anymore. It's disappointing.
What did you tag me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, just tell me. You don't have to tag me.
No,
we live in the
because it
same
was
house.
involving another tweet from one of our listeners.
Oh.
Yes. And then, and next week I'm going to have something else to plug because I just did a guest spot on another podcast, but it's not posted yet. So I don't know what day it's going to go live. So I'll just wait till our next episode to plug it.
Hey, lucky you.
Yeah. Lucky me. All right. That's it.
Bye
I
for now.
got to go. There's probably more San Diego shit. I'll figure it out and we'll talk soon. Bye.